So everyone, Jennifer is responsible, is the Oracle director responsible for the whole Java Champions program. And yeah, so Ronaldo's saying there she is. All right. So so she has this hard job of dealing with all of those people that have very strong egos, like to discuss a lot, and have the very strong opinions and voice all their opinions very loudly, right? So she has a very, very hard job of dealing with all of us here as the Java champions, right? So with you, Jennifer Nicholson.
Thank you. Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about, not just most of the Java Champion program, but just about community too, and the benefits of joining. So I know this is a mentoring session, but I had a couple slides too.
That's good. You can share your slide, Jennifer, and I'm going to stick around a little bit, and
yeah,
I can participate with you a little bit here.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, so you can, yeah. All right, so Jennifer's sharing her slides. I'm going to turn my camera off here, but I'm going to be around. So if you guys want to see the slides better, you can double click on the slides, and you don't need to do that, Jennifer. So whoever wants to see the slides, you can double click on the slide. You're going to see the slides larger, right? So, or if you prefer to see Jennifer large, you can double click on her, and then you're going to see her large. Whatever works better.
Okay.
So Ronaldo is clapping for you here. Vegan is clapping for you. He always here, right?
Yeah, all I can see are my slides now. So, and this is just not too many slides, but just to give you an idea of the program. And then everyone's virtual now, but I like to explain to people outside the area. I'm in Silicon Valley, and I live right in between Google and Apple headquarters. And again, this is just about the community. And besides the Java Champions program, there's two other recognition programs I work on too, Groundbreaker Ambassador and ACE, but I'm, again, mostly going to talk about the Java Champion program. So just a little history.
So Jen, just a quick note. There's a lot of different people here. It's not everyone Java developer. So if you want to mention the other programs here,
okay.
They might be useful too. So. Okay.
And I have a slide on the ambassador program later. So that's good. Thanks for reminding me of that too. So just a little on the Java Champion programs first. It started at Sun, came over to Oracle in 2010. We have over 300 members from 49 countries. But really all of our community programs are about people that love sharing their knowledge in the community. And the nice thing is everybody shares in the ways that they enjoy doing. So some people are speakers, some blog, some write books, some, do answer questions and forums. So it's just kind of a wide variety of ways that you can participate. In our programs, we've got a lot of speakers. So like Bruno, there's several other speakers for this event, Heinz and Kirk and many others. Present at conferences all over the world, so they enjoy speaking. But it's really, again, what I like about these programs is it's you do what you love. You share your knowledge in the ways you like to. And of course, there's benefits. So one of the big ones is networking. And networking really is beneficial in a couple different ways. One, when I know none of us are traveling right now and going to conferences or meetups, but when that day comes, hopefully soon, it's nice when you go to events to actually know people, right? So these are nice community programs where you're gonna see people you know, and it's not just good in that way where you connect with people face to face, but also there's a lot of members that have found jobs. So when they're looking for jobs, they hear about them from other members. And also, I don't know if any of you in your careers are hiring people, but you know that when you are hiring people, you prefer to pick somebody that you know of through your network. So it's really important to have a good network, whether you're looking for a job or you're, trying to build up your good employees within your groups. And I just wanted to give an example of someone in the program. Mala is a Java champion in India. And this is kind of her path to join the program. She was answering questions on Java Ranch for a couple years. And that led her to write a book. And then she also participated in a user group, which is another great community avenue. And after writing the book, because she was already participating in the user group, she decided to present to the user group members. So that's kind of how her presenting started. And then that led to writing more books. That's her on the stage at Oracle Code One a couple years ago. But it's just kind of a progression. She didn't start out doing a million things all at once. She just started out by answering questions. And that's another thing to keep in mind if you need help in your career is, reaching out and finding these Java champions or Groundbreaker ambassadors or other people in the community that are really knowledgeable and they can help you get your questions answered. So what is a good candidate? This is 2 slides just on what specifically for Java champions they're looking for. Leaders, luminaries, independent, involved in some, and I know I'm going pretty fast, but I can answer questions afterwards too. Evangelizing to other developers. And this program is unique because it's just Java champions that can nominate people to become other Java champions, and then you're a member for life. But the other program I wanted to talk about are Groundbreaker Ambassadors. And that's it's not just Java, it's all different types of what we say kind of modern developer topics. So machine learning, open source, microservices, containers. And these are people also that are active in the community. And you can nominate yourself actually to be in this program. And there's travel support when you go and speak, so that's nice. So there's a lot of benefits in that program too. But the key thing is these ambassadors are all developers. So just some ways to get more involved, presenting, blogging, doing open source projects, answering questions. I think now the positive of there being so many virtual events like this is it's easier to speak, right? You don't have to travel. We have a Groundbreakers JPAC virtual tour, so it doesn't matter where you live. You can submit to speak at this conference. Just wanted to plug this if you're interested in starting your speaking career, so to speak. And then how can you find our members? You can find the ambassadors and Java champions in our directory. And it's a good way to grow your network. So you can use the directory to either find people that are talking about the areas you're interested in, or you can search by geography too and find them that way and connect with them. And those are just some resources. And let me go back. And now I'm hoping it can be interactive if people have questions or any stories you want to share about how you've become involved in the community and how it's helped you.
All right, so I don't think my camera's turned. Okay, hey, so this is awesome, and so Vegan says, what the cost of the JCP? I think the JCP is actually Heather Van Coor is talking about the JCP on the other room. So that's not exactly the JCP, but so I have one question for you, Jen.
Sure.
I've been in the Java Champions program since the very beginning. I've seen a lot of Java Champions to join in, and one question that I get all the time is that people say, can I be a Java champion, right? Is that something? Some other people ask, is that could be my life goal, right? It's like an objective should be a Java champion. So is Java champion like something that you strive to become, or is like something that you become because you're doing some other things, right? It's like Java champion.
That's a great question, because I don't think you should necessarily strive to be a Java champion or a Groundbreaker ambassador or any other member in a program. You should be blogging or sharing your knowledge, participating in community, because that's what you love to do. It should be about what you love to do, sharing your knowledge, because if it's just to achieve a goal, it's not really the spirit of the program, I don't think. But it's you're doing these things over a course of time. And that's the other thing is, I think some people think, well, I could just, present at 2 conferences and become a Java champion or something. It's not like that at all for any of these. It's people, like Mala, in India, she was contributing for years before, that was 5 years from when she started answering questions to when she became a Java champion. So it doesn't happen overnight, and it's about kind of sharing your knowledge, and then you'll get recognized for it. But I don't think you should necessarily strive to be, have that as a goal. But I don't know, you might feel differently.
No, I think that's great. That's the thing I think too. I always think that a Java champion is a recognition for the things that you did, right? So for me, I think it's actually the easiest way for you to become a Java champion is that you go out there, you do a lot of things, right? Because you want to do those things.
Right.
Like you go code, you go present, you go share your knowledge, you're going to help people. And because you're doing those things, then some Java champion is going to notice what you're doing, and then you can be called to become one, right? And so that's actually Vegan's question. He says, is Java champion by nomination? So how does the process work?
Yeah, so and that's why I also included something about the directory in there, because I recommend finding people in the community to reach out to. You can tell through our directory, we'll have their blogs or their Twitter, so you can see how active they are, because that's the Java champion. Since you're a Java champion for life, some people have been in the program, a long time, so they may not be as active. But find the people that are active, or Groundbreaker ambassadors, if it's just developers, and connect with them, because I have to say the people that are really active they're very community minded and helpful, and I would say overall generous with their time. So connect with them, definitely, and reach out to them, and follow them, follow what they're doing on Twitter, right? You can learn a lot just from seeing what they're doing. And I think the nice, again, because of COVID and we can't travel, this is a good opportunity if you've ever considered presenting, I think, to try doing it virtually. Go outside your comfort zone and maybe a little bit.
Yeah, well, and by the way, there's a great way for you to start experimenting virtual participation, right? Because right here, this is kind of an open spaces conference, right? It's not really an unconference, an open space conference. So if you wanna present anything here during this event, right, you can just go to the sessions and create a new session, and start presenting right away, and invite some people to join you. So that's an interesting thing that you guys can do. You can practice right here if you want to. So Sophie asks, hey, Jam, I have 23 years of career as a professional Java developer. Currently, I'm a principal software engineer at Scholastic for the past 5 years. I have trained in multiple developer all levels. I have developed many successful projects, but I have never had the chance to be an active participant in the community, as you just presented. Let's say if I start today, how long would I take to be recognized by the Java Champions community to be nominated? That's a hard question right there.
Yeah, that is a hard question. I can, for the ambassador program, I can say that we look at at least the past 12 to 24 months of what you've been doing. And I think the Java Champions program, it's probably going to be longer than that, because it takes time to accomplish all those contributions, right? It takes a while. So, Java Champions, I would say at least a couple of years. Maybe Bruno, you might say differently, but and then Ambassador program, we're looking at least the last year of what you've been doing.
So Sophie say, would you say at least 5 years, or about 5 years? So Sophie, let me tell you this, it's actually, I'm not sure if it's about how many years, right? I mean, it has a lot to do, you seem to have a lot of experience. You have 23 years of career. So that means you have a whole lot of experience. And what looks like is that your experience is like, I don't want to say invisible, right? But it's not visible, right? Your career is not visible to the wider community because it looks like it should be more internal. So you train developers for your company, for example. And so the Java Champions program and all of those programs, they're not only in terms of Oracle and Java. I mean, those programs in the industry, they're all about you being a visible person, right? That people can actually see you, can actually see what you're doing. So what you need to do, Sophie, is actually turn those 23 years of career that you have into more visible things, right? And let's say that you decide in the next couple of years to write a lot of books, kind of turn all those 23 years into books, into articles, and you start doing presentation lots of different places. I mean, you become visible. So basically what you do is that you're turning the 23 years of career that you have into something more visible, right? And then we're going to have a light into 23 years of career, right? So it's not about, oh, I need 5 more years. It's about you turning these 23 years into visible things. And so that's what I think, right? And so I'll tell you what, I'll tell you this, Sophie, if you were like a new Java developer and you say, oh, in 5 years, can I be a Java champion? That's probably not. Right, because Java champions we're looking for people that have more experience, right? But you already have the experience. I mean, you have 23 years of career. Java is 25, right? So I mean, you've been over this whole process all along, right? So I mean, that's awesome. So if you can turn this into visible things, that will gonna give you a much bigger chance. So Jen.
And again, Sophie, I would start with what you enjoy doing. If you enjoy writing, blogging, I know people in the Ambassador program and in our ACE program, how they got started was they'd have a problem at work, they'd figure it out, and they didn't want to forget the little fix they learned, so they just started a blog. Just it didn't have to be this huge process, just kind of writing down their thoughts, and that's how they got into blogging. So I guess, like I said, just focus on what you like doing first. And then I see Stephen asked about starting a community program. You don't have to start a community program to have others to be selected. I recommend joining a user group or a meetup and getting involved that way. A lot of our members started out just joining the user groups, and then like Mala started presenting because they were comfortable in that group, and then it went from there. It's really a progression of participation.
Yeah, and I think that's it's definitely not about. Actually, I'll tell you even stronger than Jan, right? I totally agree with Jan what saying. I'm going to be a little bit stronger. Because the thing is, Steve, every time you want to, people say, oh, I'm going to start a new open source project. I'm going to start a new community. Of course, those things can work, right? I mean, every new open source project was started at some point. Every new community was started at some point. But a lot of the things that we're looking for is actually, how working teams, right? How you work in the community, right? So a lot of times it's better, instead of I never did anything. Let me start an open source project, right? It's like, what are the odds, right? Like, or I never did a community. Let me start my own community, right? So I think the best one is to, so I think you did not get my idea. I mean, start teaching kids of Java. It doesn't matter, right? The thing is, you can join in some existing communities. You can join in some existing open source projects, because those are the ways for you to start participating. The same thing about, if I start teaching kids, yeah, that's awesome, man. Anything that you want to do, projects or learning projects, or, code, anything that you want to contribute to other people, right? Helping other people, that's awesome. But what I'm trying to tell you is that maybe it's not about starting one. Maybe it's more about joining existing efforts, because that way you make the community stronger, and you actually going to be more visible for you, right? So my suggestion to everyone is join a Java user group near you, join an Oracle user group near you, join an open source project, join an effort to create to teach Java for kids, right? Whatever you, like Jen said before, whatever you love to do, join other people. They're doing it, and then you learn a lot faster how those things work. All right, so questions, guys. And by the way, look, I'm going to give all of you here you need to help me out, right? Because I'm here with Jim, and I love being here. But I'm also managing the main stage, right? So I gotta go there at some point, right? So I'm gonna disappear. So I'm counting on all of you to have lots of questions.
You're a natural moderator, Bruno.
All right. Okay. So Jen, I know Heather just messaged me here that she's going to start something in the main stage. So I got to go there. Okay. All right. Okay. So yes. So I'll try to go see what it is and come back here really quick to see. But good luck there.
All right.
No, come on. So Jen is not going anywhere. Come ask questions for her, right? Ask.
So maybe put in the chat. Everybody put in the chat if they've ever presented. It's much easier doing it. I've done it in person and online. It's so much easier online. But for me, I am not, well, you can probably tell, I'm not a natural public speaker. So this is less intimidating than being on a big stage. Does anybody have their own blog? Thank you. If there's a physical conference as a job, so yeah, we can talk about those kind of benefits too. So Groundbreaker Ambassadors, we actually provide travel support for them to, hotel and airfare to go to conferences and present. Java Champions is a little bit different. We do have a briefing. Well, this year's different because we're not having Code One in person, but normally we have a briefing for all the Java champions once a year, and we're going to try to start doing it at larger conferences too, to get everybody together, not just to share knowledge with each other, but also, like I mentioned before, networking. So it's another benefit of being in the program. And I would say if you're in one of our programs, it's probably easier to be a speaker at Code One, for example. And when you are a speaker, you get free passes. And then also some conferences look to see, give Java champions or ambassadors kind of, because they're more vetted, you're more likely to get accepted as a speaker. So that helps. How to start writing blogs. I mentioned earlier, a lot of the advocates that I've spoken with started out just by doing very informal posts about things that they've learned. They don't have to be long. Just, have enough in there so that you're sharing something. I think blogging does intimidate a lot of people because you think it has to be like a book, and it doesn't. And then I would, again, you can go to the directory and find some of our Java champions and see their blogs and see how they're doing it. Oh, good, Sophie. Yeah, so we have a lot of different tracks for our Groundbreakers tours. We're having one in Latin America at the end of this month with the Java track also, but developer topics too. So they're a good way to get involved. Let's see. Do you get to contribute on new Java feature specs? I think you mean if you're in the Java Champion program, do you get that access? Is that what you mean, Stephen? Just so I know. Okay. So the other thing with being in the programs is you do have access to some of the Java product managers. So that's another benefit I didn't mention is you do get that access, and Groundbreaker Ambassadors too. And it's really through that access and you kind of developing relationships with those people that you can give them feedback. So that is another nice thing. Oh, sure. Let me just go back. And yes, I can share the slide deck. So if everyone can see, that's the directory. You know, I keep mentioning, go to the directory and find people to connect with that are talking about the things that you're interested in, whether it's Java or other technologies. And then, like I said, you can search by region. You can do keywords to find people to connect with. And so many of the members, because they're community minded, if you reach out to them on Twitter, I'm pretty confident they will be willing to help you too. So all the programs have some really amazing people. And you can follow on Java Twitter, Java Champions Twitter to see the new members. And then for the Groundbreaker Ambassador Program, again, that's for people that have been contributing community at least a year. That you can nominate yourself. You just go to gbanomination.oracle.com. And whereas the Java Champion Program, I forgot to mention this. The Java Champion Program, you're a member for life. For the Ambassador Program, it's actually just for a 12-month period, and then you can renew year by year. So it's a little bit different. Any more questions? I hope I'm getting you excited about contributing and participating, or at least reaching out to current members to learn more. ID cards. Stephen, tell me a little bit about what you mean. I can tell you for the ambassadors and the Java champions, you get a little swag. You get, branded jackets or polos and things like that. And then at events, at the larger conferences, because there's so many members speaking and stuff, I hold a lot of dinners and receptions, again, so members can get together and network. But I'm not sure, Stephen, if you want to say more about ID cards. But you definitely get swag. Well, we do have electronically, there's the Java Champion logo that people put on their websites. So electronically, we have graphics to share so that you can show people. And like I said, at events, you'll have the branded jackets and lanyards, that kind of thing. But no, not really, not small cards so much. Though we do have laptop stickers sometimes. Thank you, Sophie. I encourage all of you to submit for at least the Groundbreakers APAC tour. I'm pretty sure the organizers are going to be sharing the recordings. But Santhi, if you have any questions, you can ask now too. So for the programs, the Groundbreaker Ambassador program, we really look at the last 12 months to see what you've been doing, to see whether you qualify to be in the program. And then once you're in the program, we have an application where you enter in what you're doing in the community. And we promote what you're doing via social media. So if you have a blog post or you're presenting somewhere, we will tweet about it. We have the Java Champions Twitter, and we've got @Groundbreakers. So we really, once you're in our, more so the ambassador program, once you're in the program, we really want to raise your profile even more and help promote what you're doing. So we have you share with us whether you're blogging or presenting, and then we amplify that in social media. And then ambassadors, you're in the program. It's for a year, and then we reevaluate every year. And Java Champions, like I mentioned, it's just Java Champions that can nominate candidates, and then they vote on membership. And then they need at least 3 positive votes, and no more than if you have more than 2 negative votes, then a candidate can't get in. So it's different. And the other difference is Oracle started the Groundbreaker Ambassador program and the ACE program. I haven't mentioned the ACE program too much because that's solely focused on people that are sharing about Oracle products. But the Java Champion program is really, the rules and everything are made by the Java Champions, not by Oracle. So for the Java Champions, the way the voting works is I get the nominations and I send out an email. We have a Java Champions mailing list, and I send out the nomination to the whole mailing list, and anybody, we have over 300 members, can vote. So, a lot of people are active and vote on every single candidate. And, there's also dialogue and kind of exchange that goes on, trying to find out more and more about the candidates. But I had those 2 slides on what they look for, and that's actually on Oracle's website too, those criteria of what they're looking for Java Champions. And I haven't mentioned this, and I don't think it applies to anybody listening, but Oracle employees can't be members of these programs. Is anybody blogging now already or not yet? I am on Twitter. Not yet. Okay. Here, I'll do one more so you can see. If you want to email me, maybe you have a longer question, you can, my email's on there. There's my Twitter handle. And actually, whenever I'm at the Java Champion events or Groundbreaker Ambassadors, I'm always tweeting out pictures of what everybody's doing too. So you can kind of get an idea that way. And then our different Twitter handles are it's at Groundbreakers for the ambassador program. We actually have at Oracle Ace for that program, and then at Java_champions. And then it's the Java Champion directory I have there. It's actually for all our programs. So it's Java Champion, Groundbreaker Ambassador, and Ace. You can find everybody there. Oh, that's a great question, Stephen. I get that question a lot about the ACE program, because we have about 450 ACEs, but no, there is no limit at all. And I'm going to say one other thing. So for the ambassador program and the ACE program, because you can nominate yourself, one thing I'm really hoping changes is that women do not tend to self-nominate as much as men do. So if you're a man listening and you know of a woman in the community, nominate her. Or if you're a woman yourself, don't be shy and nominate yourself. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Are there any other questions? And one more thing with the ambassador program, if you do apply to be in the program and you're not quite ready yet, we do email people with recommendations on what you can do to get qualified. And the other nice thing is, if you want to reach out to me about mentoring and getting matched up with somebody in the community for that, I'd be happy to help with that too. Everybody should have a mentor. So I think one of the benefits of having a mentor would be that they might challenge you to reach outside your comfort zone and look at doing things you wouldn't consider before, especially if it's somebody that's already involved in what you would like to be doing. So for example, for these programs, if you have a mentor that's already in the program, they are already familiar with the community and what people in the community are doing, and can kind of guide you that way. And I'm guessing you all know the expressions, all who you know. But really, the people that you know in the community can make a huge difference by one person introducing you to somebody else, again. And it's not just for careers, because I've talked to so many people in our programs that have found job opportunities just through each other. That's part of it, but also just career advice, or in your job, if you have any problems or things you're trying to solve, that community can help. I think it's always good to get another perspective on where you could be going in your career, and knowing what's worked for other people so that you could maybe apply it for yourself. And I have one question for some of you is, have many of you gone to physical events? So whether it's a meetup, I know none of us can travel now, but before all this, did any of you go to physical events, whether it was a big conference or a meetup? Or do you prefer to get knowledge more online, like a virtual conference like this? Hopefully some of you answer that. And then in the meantime, what are the challenges of being in? So there's no challenges of being in the program at all, because really, like Bruno was saying, it's you're sharing your knowledge and then you're recognized for it. That's what these programs are, right? They're recognition programs. So you're already, doing what you love doing and you're being recognized. So there's no challenges so much. I know Bruno mentioned that the Java champions, how did he say it in the beginning, were, have strong opinions, but that's more on technology. So it's not that it's a challenge of being in the program. It's just you're going to be exposed to a lot of different views. But I think that's a good thing. Any more questions? Oh, one more thing about presenting. If presenting intimidates you, you can, a good way that some ACEs, the third program, in the ACE program, there's 3 levels depending on how much you've been, how long and how much you've been contributing in the community. But I know one thing that makes it easier to get into presenting is to find somebody that has experience presenting and then you be a co-presenter. So that's kind of an easier way to get exposed to it. And the other thing is, a lot of people get very intimidated by speaking because they think, what are people going to ask me? I'm not going to be able to answer the questions, etc. But if you think about, you only need to be an expert on what's on your slides, and not on every topic, or be able to answer everything. It makes it a little bit easier. Hi, Rowan. So as far as how long it takes to be in the program, we talked a little bit about this earlier. So for the Groundbreaker Ambassador program, we looked at what you've been doing the last 12 months. For the Java Champion program, and there's not really exact time on this, but it's more about what you've accomplished in the community. So the example I talked about in this presentation was Mala Gupta, who's a Java champion. She started out in 2013 just answering questions on a Q&A, a Java Q&A forum. And then she ended up writing a book, and then she joined a user group and started presenting. So that her whole journey took her 5 years. Now, that doesn't mean it takes everybody 5 years. It just really depends on what you're doing. So you can't exactly put a time limit on it. It's more what you're accomplishing. And Bruno kind of mentioned this earlier too, but we don't look, excuse me, for the Groundbreaker Ambassador program about what you're doing in your company. So if you're presenting to your coworkers or sharing your knowledge there, these are community programs. So it's what you're sharing outside your jobs and in the community. So again, some ways to start out is just doing small blog posts on little things that you've learned, or like I just mentioned, if you're going to present, have a co-presenter or be on a panel. There's a lot more panel presentations now, especially virtually. I'm seeing too. What else? Answering questions on forums is easy. You can, well, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but you can, just do that at home in your own time. But one of the reasons I love my job, I'm very, very fortunate, is the people that I work with are all, Java champions, ambassadors, aces. They're all community minded, and they're about sharing what they know. So they're really a great group of people. Anything else? And also, if you look at the speakers for this conference, I mentioned this earlier, there's a lot of Java champion speakers. So those are some people you might want to reach out to too. And thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. I'm hoping you can see my excitement at the members and the program and getting started. Thanks for your kind words, everybody. And try to find a user group too. Those are great ways. Joining a user group or just start by attending events and volunteering on a user group. That's a great way to get to know people too. And I'm glad you're excited, Stephen. Yes. Oh, that's great. It's funny. The ACE program, I mentioned there's 450 members, and I've had several people contact me that they're feeling disconnected because of the situation we're in, that we can't see each other face to face at conferences, and they wanted a happy hour, a virtual happy hour. So I think it's a great idea. We all want to feel connected, and it's especially challenging right now. Thank you. Yes. As far as reviewing, being a technical reviewer, I can say for the Groundbreaker Ambassador program, that definitely counts. And actually, you don't even have to write a book in the ambassador program. Even writing a chapter, for example, counts. We look at everything that you're doing. Yes, definitely sharing your knowledge, helping your peers. I'm not sure if most of you are part of a user group or not. But definitely, hopefully you can follow me on Twitter, or you can email me if you have any other questions too, and use that directory to find members. And you can follow the Java Champions Twitter too, that you see all the new members that are announced. I would say on average, there's a couple new Java champions every month. Sharing on Twitter, we do look at that for the ambassador program. I don't know how much. I think Java champions. I'm trying to remember the discussions people have had on nominations. I don't know if it's just on Twitter, but ambassador program, yes. And LinkedIn too. You mentioned Instagram, Facebook. A lot of people actually just write their articles on LinkedIn too, without having your own blog. So you don't really have to have your own blog. You can post on LinkedIn too. I'm not sure where you all live, because I know LinkedIn is more popular in some countries than others. Yes, Medium. Wow, very impressive. Yeah, I know there's some people that don't want to start their own blog on WordPress or those, so they just do it on LinkedIn. So really the only thing, like ambassador program we looked at is just that it's public and you're not charging for the information. So if you write a lot of articles, but you have to pay like a membership fee to access your content, that doesn't count as community content. Yeah, I would say really all the things we're talking about, whether you're blogging or presenting, or if you're holding a board position at a user group or organizing meetups, all of these things take a lot of time, for sure. And that's why I said earlier that it's not ideal to really aspire to be a Java champion, because it's a lot of work. You should just do the activities because you like doing them. Life is short. You should do what you like, right? Thank you. All right. Thanks, everybody. Any more questions? And then I'm going to close. All right. Thanks again for coming.